said he exploited them. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I didn't know him. I know you did.
I met him too.
Yeah, I didn't know him, but from afar, I did feel like it was exploitive. And then, you have the article that Gloria Steinem wrote because she went undercover at the Playboy Mansion, and she described such terrible things. Playboy Club, rather. Yeah. She describes, just how women were treated, what they were forced to wear, and it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, he was a mixed bag. He was very progressive politics, against all kinds of racism. He was good with that. But with women, let's put it this way, Gloria Steinem's not going to read his eulogy.
Yeah, but there were, people always joke about the articles were good. There were amazing writers.
They were.
And they had like Kurt Vonnegut.
The best writers in America.
So there were some really good articles. Not that I ever saw any.
Did you read these articles, Sarah?
No. But I do think that he was a pioneer, and I always applaud someone that kind of busts a new lane in the road. Like,
the guy also, here's the thing, it's in a way, I hate to bring Donald Trump's name into this, but people say, he's not a sexist because he hires women. Well, so did Hugh Hefner. He made his daughter the CEO of the Playboy industry, and he hired women, and but he also exploited women. He objectified women by showing, but he also was the, Kim Kardashian would not be among us without Hugh Hefner setting the tone back in the 50s, because it's been progressively more and more sex. And remember, in the 50s, it was so repressed in those days. Women were all uptight, with the high collars and no sex. Women who had to get an abortion could not get them in those days.
But then if we think of it that way, didn't he empower women to go and take that? Because he didn't force anyone to work at the club. So did he allow women to come in? He said, here, this is what we're doing. Women came in, made their own money, had their gigs, sort of brought this idea of stewardesses and Playboy bunnies and sort of elevated maybe a different kind of conversation.
Well, because, the women that showed up and wanted to be a part of that, I say if you feel objectified, you did that. No one does that to you. If you go in and take that job or that's what you want to do. But it also raised their game in certain circles and businesses. Because when you say you were a Playboy bunny, there was an iconic status to that brand.
See,
I think Gloria Steinem would say that that was low consciousness also. That maybe they were willing victims of this, what shall I say, players. But you could say they also have low consciousness. I would say he
was more at fault for the idea of the thoughts he planted in men's minds about women and objectifying. The women, I don't feel.
But a lot of times women don't have the same opportunities. And if you look at...
Remember the time we're talking about. There was, when Gloria came out and Betty Friedan came out, remember, they were talking to women saying, you can go out and do whatever you want to do. And so I kind of feel like if women decided they wanted to be hot and sexy in their outfits, and that's how they felt, I was never a bunny, so I don't know. But in my own mind,
But I don't know. I mean... I can see the mixed bag. He had some really, and I think most people are mixed bags, right? You have some great qualities and not so great qualities. But in terms of giving women opportunity and women, having to be responsible for it, Gloria Steinem in this essay, she says the bunnies tended to be poorly educated, overworked, and underpaid. The club took 50% of the first $30 they made in tips. Bunnies had to pay for a lot of their own costumes, and a lot of the men that worked there would just call them bunny, 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 bunny. And so
disrespectful.
very disrespectful.
Ogling, a lot of ogling.
Same with strippers. I mean, sometimes they do it because they need the money.
It's like Maggie Gyllenhaal's character in The Deuce. Like, there's a way to look at her, like and when you're first watching it, you project your own limitations. Like, oh my gosh, poor thing had to prostitute. But she actually talks about the empowerment of choosing her own way.
Yes.
So it was her choice to do. So there's a side to it that we can't understand because the lens we're looking through is limited. We wouldn't do that.
Listen, if I came from a place, if I could have gotten a job, think of all the places that women couldn't go to work. They weren't hiring women. And these women said, you know what, I'm going out, this man is hiring. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. You can't look at this through a 2017 lens. You have to look at this in an early 60s lens and figure these young women who are out there said, yeah, I'm out there, I'm doing my thing, I'm being me. And it's one thing I love Gloria Steinem, but I just feel like if a woman decides that she's going to take her destiny into her hands, that's empowering to me. I don't have to love how she does it because I wouldn't have done it, but she had the opportunity to go and do this, and I think, okay, if this is your choice, that's how I feel about folks in the skin industry too. If this is what you're choosing and no one is forcing you, I'm good with you.
Well, it's not that no one's forcing anybody to do all that. But there is kind of like the system is forcing you into that particular mold.
Less opportunity.
But there was no
opportunity.
opportunity. There was no opportunity. Again,
Well,
go
that's
back
not true.
to the,
I was there, and I was a teacher.
I was there too.
I know you were.
But
I had plenty of opportunities. I worked in a 5 and 10. I worked for the New York State Employment
Yes, but
Service.
some women didn't want to do that.
And
they
some
wanted to
women-
do something different.
I think some women had ideas of also trying to break into the business, and so their idea of that was whatever it takes. And you have these, they were all beautiful women, and
Why
they
don't
were.
we see if we can get some bunnies and invite them on?
Yes,
Why don't we
because-
see if we can get some bunnies to come on?
Okay, I think that's a great idea because I would like to understand this
Barbara
more.
Walters played a bunny once.
Well, we're going to show that.
I would like to understand more, and also, I mean, if you look at fast forward to what was it? Holly Madison was one of the
Yes.
women that lived in the mansion. She wrote this tell-all book, and she talked about the fact that she didn't really understand that part of the arrangement was she had to have sex with him.
I understood that, and I never lived there. Like, Holly, come on, girl.
You know what? I don't know anything
it
about
seemed
that.
very
I don't know
exploitive
anything
to me.
about people living in the mansion having sex. I did not have sex when I lived in the mansion.
I
Neither did you.
went to the mansion.
Yeah, we've
went
been in the mansion. Yeah.
I went to the mansion. He opens the door. He's in his pajamas. I thought he's taking a nap, and I realized that's what he wears
Yeah.
all day long.
All the time.
The pajamas
Yeah.
all day.
All day.
Oh my gosh, you did too.
Imagine if your husband walked around. There I am. Imagine if your husband walked around in his pajamas all day. You'd do
I wish
awesome.
my husband had a robe that cute.
Then he has a zoo on the property.
A zoo?
The animals are all naked. No, kidding.
Were there women? Were there women scantily dressed also?
There were women around. You know, what I must say about him, though, he's very, very sweet, very nice, very lovely guy. He was open-minded, of course, as we know. So it's a mix. That's like I said, it's a mixed bag. Yeah.
And as we said, Barbara Walters has ties to have. She put on the bunny ears and tail to be a bunny.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Barbara was hot.
That's back in 1962.
Wow.
Yeah, you know?
That's the last time she waited on any table, I'll tell you that.
We'll be right back with more hot topics.
Still ahead, PDA TMI. The ladies on whether couples should show public displays of affection or just get a room already.
So you know who claims that Facebook pushed content to trash him during the election.
No.
They were so mean to him. I know. But Mark Zuckerberg hit back that all sides were represented. Now, come on, aren't they both wrong? Because President Obama warned Zuckerberg that fake news played a role in the election.
Yeah.
Was, you know, I mean, the real question we should ask ourselves is, damn, does Facebook have that much power?
Yeah.
Well, but you have to remind everybody, I think, that hundreds of ads were placed in there by the Russians. And they were mostly, and all against Hillary Clinton, basically, to get
thousands
thousands
of
of
ads.
them.
Yeah.
And that Zuckerberg took the money, right? Didn't he take the money?
I believe so.
He did.
And then what happened after that? Now he says he's sorry that he took the money and didn't put the information
Initially,
out.
he said that he didn't think it happened.
A day late and a dollar short.
I think
Facebook
the
didn't play the
power,
part.
the power Facebook has is its reach.
Yeah.
So when you have a platform that reaches so many people, and you can have people providing fake news, and they were playing, by the way, both sides. So sadly, Trump doesn't realize in that statement that they also helped him. But they were fake stories, and they were trying to create division. So they fed both sides and the Green candidates. Now, people from both sides of the aisle have come to this table and said, everyone should be on the same page on this. This is a problem. So we actually need not only Mark Zuckerberg, but we need Twitter, who's actually meeting today with the Senate and House Intelligence Committees, to come forward with everything they have, because this is bigger.
The Russian...
on Russian intervention, like, because they also use Twitter, and Twitter hasn't revealed anything that they did on their platform.
You know, I was really shocked to learn that 62% of U.S. adults get their news from Facebook. And so when you think about that, it's the perfect place for the Russians to try to influence our election. And they're still doing it. Apparently, the goal now is to amplify political discord. And get this, they're using hashtags such as Take a Knee and Boycott NFL and Black Lives Matter to sort of sow this division even today. So that's pretty remarkable. I mean, I know my cousin just sent me this Facebook article, and he's like, be careful, because if somebody put something in your drink, you could wake up and a kidney could be gone. And I was
heard
like,
that story too.
what?
They leave it on the mirror.
And
call 911 or something.
And I was like, are you serious? Where did you get this article from? He's like, Facebook.
Yeah.
And I thought, my goodness.
Well,
That article goes way. That article's been around a long time.
But it's like, this is like a smart
Yeah.
guy. Like,
It's a
why is
spooky
he,
story.
But he's getting his news.
Well, but
those are
the
urban
question
legends,
is,
too.
where's Facebook getting their news?
Yes.
That's the question you
It's
have to
user
ask.
generated, yeah.
You know, is it like Wikipedia?
Zuckerberg, I remember hearing him say that he has a technology company. He does not have a media company. And he just recently came out to say, actually, it has become a
He has
media
to take
company.
responsibility for what goes on there. He owns it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, and they also have under their umbrella, Silicon Valley has so many great minds. They need to team up, because when President Obama calls, I mean, he hasn't called me, and he has a warning for you or something, you take heed and listen.
Yes.
Like they need to be teaming up with people right now. And the fact that this is, I mean, I appreciate that he's now changing his tune, but I think he needed to get on board when they call.
Why do people always change their tune when they get caught?
Because they get busted.
I mean, it's like, listen, you knew this was happening. You knew this was happening. You knew it was wrong. What did you think was going to happen when you saw all of this?
I would love
But,
to hear his thoughts on
a couple of things that were there, though. They created Facebook groups with names like United Muslims of America. And they reported, for instance, Hillary Clinton admitted the U.S. funded and armed al-Qaeda. You know, I mean, stuff like that. Yeah, why would you believe that? Then
Because
they claim that
cognitive dissonance.
this is a good one.
See what
they
they
claim
wanna
that
see.
John McCain was ISIS's true founder. I mean, how do you believe this
People
stuff?
believe it.
Because-
My cousin believed the kidney
Because
thing.
when the kidney thing is
It's
true.
more believable
true?
than
Yes,
this.
it is.
That's true.
Well, because for a while,
Never drinking at a party again.
for a while, people were getting knocked out. And we talked about this
Happens
years
around the
ago.
world, probably.
We talked about this on this show, where someone had been knocked out at some point and had woken up and discovered that they had some
They
sort of
leave you in a bath of
operation
ice.
was happening.
Well, it has happened.
Yeah, it
is
has
what
happened.
That
So,
one has
yeah.
happened.
Oh.
But all this other stuff.
Sorry,
I mean,
cousin.
so the question we have to ask ourselves is, where is this news coming from?
And who's
is
planting it in the right spots?
And who's doing it? And can you distinguish the difference between, John McCain being the head of ISIS?
Yeah.
And,
bit of a stretch.
someone saying, you're going to lose all of your medical
But Sarah says it all the
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
People need to look at the source of the information.
Right. You
You
triple
cannot
source
believe everything that you read.
You have to do
it's
it.
up to us to do that.
If you can find it in 3 legitimate places,
Yes.
then there's probably some truth
Yeah,
there.
you've always
could-
said
And
that.
places that have a track record, not places that popped up 3 years ago.
Do you remember how powerful that one ad was? My mom even called me and
Which
said
one?
about you leaving the show.
Oh, yeah, there was an ad that I
And
was...
my mom goes, it was in People. I said, Mom, it was not in People. And we had to
It was on
trace where
Facebook.
she saw it, and it was
Yeah.
a weird.com that was like
Selling face creams,
Wait a
right?
minute. There was a story here. The story was put out that when we had the Women's March,
Yeah.
that I was wearing a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about that?
I still see that.
Said that I was wearing a shirt that had a bloody head of Donald Trump on it.
Yeah.
Now,
They photoshopped
fortunately, they photoshopped it. Fortunately, they had filmed the march, and so you see me talking about the shirt that I have on that's too tight. Okay? So you see the shirt.
Yeah.
And people have not taken it down. They
I just
put
got
it
it on
up,
my Twitter
Right.
feed
and
the
they
other
put
day.
it back. And it's you have to really pay attention to stuff, because stuff gets debunked and keeps popping
I
up
don't-
like bad gas.
It feels like a very... to me, it's a dangerous track
Are you
that
still
we're on
selling the
with
face
this.
cream, Joy?
No, I never... Wait a minute. What's it? Hold on. Sorry. Candace Cameron Bure's mother bought it.
Yeah.
I had to straighten the woman out. It's not my cream. And where's the money? Where's the money?
And let me tell you, you'll know when it's Joy's cream.
Yeah, you will.
We'll be right back. So welcome back. A preview of the season premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians shows how Kim got a disturbing heads up about her stepdad, Caitlyn's book. Take a look.
It says in Caitlyn's book, Robert Kardashian knew O.J. Simpson was guilty, but joined the defense team to get back at his remarried ex.
And she has a lot of family history with those kids. So it's kind of an odd shot to take at the dad.
I know.
Well, she's writing a memoir, so, you know, she's got to write something or no one's going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Well, that's the point. Is Caitlyn's always taken such a pride in those. You know, she raised those kids from such a young age. When you know something like that's going to hurt, and they're living with that loss every day. They talk. I mean, whenever you lose a parent, so I just feel like that's a place I wouldn't go. Like I think that's a little sacred. And
I see it in all these memoirs. I mean, I know that people want to tell their story, and there's real value to reading about other people's struggles. But you know, I don't know. I always learned family business you keep in the family. You know,
you can't write the memoir.
I know. I just
Don't write it.
It makes me very. I'm always nervous about this kind of
Well,
thing because we see it
you
over
can write
and over
about
again.
you, but if the person is dead and they can't defend themselves, I think you got to take that off the table. I think you got to take that off the table.
Really?
When you make an accusation like that, and the kids are stunned, and the wife is stunned, and everybody's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to be careful because he can't get up out the grave and say, "Hey, that's not what I said to you." So it just sort of.
But it's again, it's a he said, it's a she said, she said.
Yeah.
So, you know, Caitlyn says, this is what he said, and she says it can't be. So that's the controversy of the book. It's still I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it's still his or hers. I keep getting my pronouns mixed up.
So,
call them they.
it'll take a minute.
Yeah.
It'll take a minute.
She has to write a book.
Right.
I'm telling you, what that has to sell. I said that already. I don't want to repeat myself.
And I think you have to talk about Chris, because Chris was a direct part of his life.
You know, public displays of affection
New topic.
elicit very different reactions. And the Journal of Sex Research found out why couples do that. Apparently, according to them, most women want to show they're in a relationship, but men do it to boost their image.
Of course. It's for their ego.
Okay, so you're telling me that people look at each other and they're thinking, yes, I'm gonna boost my image. Yes, I'm gonna show I'm in a relationship, as opposed to, ooh, you look so good. I mean, who is putting all that thought into that?
I don't think they're putting that much thought into it. I mean, I'm not
Have you done it?
When I was younger, when Manny and I were first together, we couldn't keep our hands off of each other.
But
for
that's
sure.
different. That's different.
For sure.
We've all been there.
Right? But
usually,
and sometimes you kind of do it in public.
No. No.
Yeah.
We can't follow you, Sonny.
Yeah. Some people do.
Sometimes I would do that.
But where is this going to end? At the Olive Garden in the middle of dinner?
I know. I mean,
come on.
I don't think people put that much thought. I will say, for years, he used to like, for years, every time
Give me that spaghetti on those lips.
but for years, my husband, every time I walked by him, he would like pat my butt. I finally said, like, last year probably, I was like, could you stop with the butt pat? It's
I
like,
love a
it's
butt
so,
pat.
I just find it, now I find it a little disrespectful.
But in the old days, you liked
In
it.
front of, in the old days, I was doing that.
Sonny, when someone pats your butt, they like it. You never pat someone's butt you don't like.
No, but see,
But in
but
public,
your
I
husband
don't-
doing it
That's what I
is
mean.
different.
But in public, I felt like it was just.
But the truth of
It
the matter
seemed
is that once you
disrespectful.
marry, you stop with the public displays. And why is that? Although some people
I don't
still
know.
do it, and when you're married and you're still doing it, it's for other people. It's not for you anymore. It's to show other people, look how happy we are. And then the divorce follows very shortly thereafter.
I think the PDA is different than public affection. Like, I'll touch hands or, butt pat.
Yeah.
But like when you're making out.
That's what we're talking about.
No, but I mean the making out is the
Yeah,
part that's
yeah,
like PDA. I
right.
was at a concert with Paula, and there was a couple in front of us.
Don't tell me you were making out.
Yeah.
No, we couldn't stop watching, but I mean, like literally, they made a baby in front of us. Like,
Really?
They were having
See,
sex?
That's
well,
too
not
much.
completely, but it was aggressive. Like no one could stop watching.
Wow.
And Dave Chappelle was on stage, and I couldn't watch.
You know, what you're saying is that it's kind of a turn on.
Well, I mean, I don't want to do it, but
It's like
We have to
live
go.
porn. Live porn.
Look, the steam is coming out of the television. The people upstairs are so nervous that we are going into territory they can't get us out of, that they're demanding we go right to break. We'll be right back.
Guess what? I'm coming up next. Feel free to change the channel. I would.
He is one of the funniest human beings on the planet and also the creator, writer, and star of the brilliant series Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is back for its 9th season, and it's clear where Larry stands on PDA. Take a look. Please welcome the upbeat and always optimistic Larry David. Let's make out. Let's make out. Nice, huh?
I have 3 words for you. Curb your enthusiasm.
So, you know, you heard the Hot Topics maybe that they forced you to watch us?
Yes, but the TV was turned off for some time, and I didn't know how to put it back on.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we were talking about, you know, public displays of affection,
Yes.
and then you had it right in your show. What is it specifically that annoys you about
disgusting.
it? It is. I agree.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, you know, after my wife and I separated,
Yeah.
I noticed that couples began to be more affectionate in front of me. Like, yeah, on purpose, like rubbing it in my face. See, we still have this and you don't.
Yeah.
Like showing off their relationship, whereas they never touched each other before that. I found it interesting and disturbing
It
at
is.
the same time. Yeah.
Well, you saw the purpose of it for men is to show off, and for the women it was to make you jealous. That was the study we did.
I don't buy any of that.
No.
No.
So it's just
It's
personal.
a sexual attraction, and they're into it, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Yes.
So, okay. We also were talking about Hugh Hefner earlier.
Yeah.
Hugh, who died. Nice
Yes.
run he had, 91 and all
Yeah,
that sex.
not bad.
Who's
yeah.
better than him?
Yeah.
Were you a Playboy fan yourself?
When I could sneak it somewhere, you know, I dare not buy one, you know, but any chance I had to look at it, I seized upon it, yes. No, he was admired by every teenager in the neighborhood.
I know.
I mean, you know, the guy did nothing seemingly, walked around in pajamas, smoked a pipe, and then had sex all the
I
time.
know. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He's practically a unicorn.
I don't know if I believe it.
So I'm meant to tell you, you played Bernie Sanders on Saturday Night Live. I think he knows during the election season, and you were nominated for an Emmy. And I'm to ask you, what's the secret of playing Bernie?
Really? Is that a question?
Yeah.
Is there a secret?
And so they said, what's the secret of playing Bernie?
Gee, you know, there really is no secret. All you do is open your mouth and talk. And hope for the best. Yeah.
Like Bernie.
Yeah. No, we're both, I think we're distant cousins, actually. Yeah.
They found that out.
Yeah, they
after.
found that out. So, yeah.
Because you do look like each other.
Yeah.
You favor each other.
And that's how people talk in Brooklyn. So it was very easy to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
And my
Wait, were you
cousin
doing
talked
it now?
exactly like
He
that.
sounds
yeah.
just, you just did it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's like, is he doing him or?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but you and Joy go back as well. And before you created Seinfeld, you used to do, you worked together on a show called Way Off Broadway in 1987.
Yes.
Larry was a writer. I was the host of the show. Larry was a writer.
Yeah, that was
What
my,
do you
that was my big
remember
break.
about her?
It was, right?
Yeah.
He was
us
broke
something
in
about
those
her.
days, and so was I.
Something about her?
Like, what do you remember about her then?
Whatever I remember about her then is that's exactly who she is now. She's the exact same person.
And so was he.
That's
Same thing.
great.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Larry would come to my house. I'll tell them. Larry would come to. There we are. Oh my God.
Yes.
Remember when she used to cut your hair? That girl, the hairdresser,
That's
they used to
Mario
cut your
Cantone,
hair.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Cantone. He was on
Oh.
the show too. All my friends are the same people.
Yeah.
Susie Essman, who's on Curb Your Enthusiasm, that funny Susie
love
Green.
Susie.
But Larry would come to my house, and I would order food to come in because we'd be there for hours, and he'd be writing, and then he'd say, "Who's paying for this?" I said, "The show will pay for
I
it."
didn't want you to pay for
I know.
it.
He was very sweet though. And
I
we-
certainly wasn't going to pay
No,
for
no, no.
it.
Neither was I. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
He was so productive. He'd come with copious notes, all sorts of concepts, brilliant stuff, you know.
Well, Curb Your Enthusiasm is brilliant. I mean, it's just, it really is. And it's back, but it's been 6 years. Why did you take it away from us for 6 years?
I just didn't feel like doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
But now you do again.
And then I did feel like it. You know, I missed
like
it.
my
I
brother.
missed the people. And it just felt like the time was right to do it again. And I really don't have more fun doing anything than that. Yeah.
You tried to stand up again during the period, the fallow period,
Yes,
right?
during the fallow period.
And did you like it at least
I
a
liked
little
it.
bit?
I liked it at first.
Yeah. Then what happened?
And then every set, it got gradually more boring. Yeah. And finally, I was on stage going, I should really do Curb again. You know, in the middle of my act. You know?
Yeah.
Is this-
Larry is legendary as a stand-up comedian because he'd come in. You have to. I've said this many times. He'd come in. He'd look at the audience. If he didn't like the way they looked, he'd walk out. Or somebody would look at their watch. He'd say, "What are you looking at your watch for?" And then he'd be ticked off. And
The tiniest little things would bother me
Did
on
you
stage.
get bored on Broadway?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
same thing every
Yeah,
night.
same thing every night. Yeah, it's. I'm not suited for it.
No.
And I don't like having to know I have to be at a certain place at a certain time every single day.
I know.
And you can't look at the audience and walk out.
Yeah.
Can you give us a hint of what we can expect for this season?
A lot of funny stuff.
A lot of funny stuff.
All right.
Okay, well, we're going to keep you for another segment. Would you like to?
Oh.
Yes. We're staying.
Let him see the audience first. You'll decide if he's staying.
We'll be right back.
We are back with Larry David. Larry, you have two daughters, Cassie and Romy.
Yes.
And they're both millennials. Do they ever give you a hard time or let you know when you're being uncool?
Well, when I used to. What's that?
There's a picture
Wait,
of you.
that picture is great.
Let's see it.
Put that back up.
Where is it?
I feel like the picture says so many things right there.
Oh yeah, I was
What
in
is that?
I was in D.C. Dropping my youngest daughter, off at school at GW, and I wanted to visit the Manassas battlefield, so we took a trip, and
She looks thrilled.
that's Cassie. That's Cassie. Yeah, she wasn't too
Is that on
excited
your bucket
about it.
list, the Manassas?
You know, I don't really have a bucket list.
Oh,
Yeah.
really nothing?
No, nothing.
You've done everything you had to do.
I've done nothing, but
How about travel?
there's
Was
nothing I want.
traveling to-
No, it doesn't interest me.
Nothing.
No.
But Cassie has a good sense of humor. She has a web series,
Yes.
and it's being called, quote, the new Larry David. How does that make you feel? I'd be so proud that she. It's like
No, I don't know if you've seen the web series. She's terrific. I think that she wouldn't like the term "the new Larry David," though.
okay. That only makes sense when it's not your dad.
Well, kids don't like to be in the shadow of their parents.
First of all, they won't even let me drop them off at school. No, I had to drop them off like 2 blocks away.
Well, after
Just-
that picture, I can kind of understand.
I mean, it's unbelievable. there's something embarrassing about getting out of your parents' car. I don't know what that is. It's
Yes,
crazy.
yes.
Yeah.
Because it means that you're still a baby, that
Yeah.
your parents have to take you.
Yeah.
I used to say to my kid, look, you can walk.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. I said, then get in the car.
And sometimes if I was mad at her, I'd go, no, we're going right to the door.
So, you know,
It's not necessary to applaud. Okay, yeah.
you just had a birthday, I heard.
I did, yeah.
And I have one coming up, and it's quite a large number. I have,
it's a big,
I have vertigo from the number, so I can't say it. It's a huge number at this point, because we're getting up there now.
Yeah.
So, you know, how are you coping with that?
Same way I coped when I was younger. You know, what do you do? There's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can
Yeah.
do. You just have to keep going on. I have a friend.
There's no thought that you have that's going to erase it.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
There's no dream that's going to erase it.
And what's the alternative?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the youngest you'll ever be
But I have a friend who's like 90.
right now.
And she
Yeah.
says, I
like that.
She says she feels that she should start facing the Grim Reaper. I say, why? Face it now. You never faced it for 90 years.
Yeah.
Why are you facing it now?
Anyway, thanks for bringing up the subject because it's so much fun. to talk about. Yeah. No, it's.
But you know what the beauty of it is? The beauty of it, Larry, is that as we get older, we'd have a better time. We're having a better time now than we did when we were in our 30s and 20s, aren't we? I am. You don't think so?
I think I can handle things a little better than I did when I was younger.
You have money. You have money now. You were broke in the old days, like as was I. We were broke.
Yes.
Couldn't even buy a car.
I was going to Smiler's at 3 o'clock in the morning to buy a can of ravioli. You know.
Smiler.
Yeah.
Smiler.
Yeah. So.
Smiler.
Yeah.
So I mean, so if Curb goes off the air again, God forbid, what would you do? What would you do? What's the next thing that you would think of doing?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
No.
What makes you laugh out loud with a smile? Just want to clarify because I'm.
It's hard. It's hard.
laughs easily.
It's hard to define that. I don't know.
Does any person make you laugh, or is there any?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
He laughs a lot. Here's
Yeah.
Larry. Larry laughs at other comedians. He's generous to other comedians. He gives jobs to other comedians. He's very good. Very good person. It's true. That whole grumpy thing is just an act.
Yeah, it's a big act. That grumpy.
He's just
thing,
playing
yeah.
Bernie
It's
right
an
now.
act.
It's
It's an
fine.
act.
Well, a big thank you to Larry David.